Be careful who you marry. I was working in a critical care unit a few years back in New York City. I had taken an assignment out there. And it was a gentleman that had came in and he had been affected from COVID. And he was on the ventilator. When he came in, he was so sick that I kind of thought that he wasn't going to make it. But as time went on, he began to progress. His wife would come in every single day. He had a little boy that was maybe 6 years old. And he seemed to be thriving. Like, he came up pretty good ways. Now, he had a long way to go, but he had came a pretty good ways. He wasn't able to talk, but he was able to mouth like some of the things that he needed. And his wife would come in and sit down and pray with him and pray for him. And she was just all over the place about him. Oh, don't touch that. And who is this doctor? I need to know who this doctor is before he does this to him. Or, like, she was just all on top of him having the best care. And she talked about him being a very good guy, like in their prior life before, him being in the hospital and stuff. And she was like so on his team. She loved him so much. So it seemed. Be careful who you marry, part 2. So the wife continues to come every single day. Still had a lot of questions. She was good with the staff. She had so many questions as any person would with a sick family member in there. She proceeds to always tell us how great of a husband he was and how she couldn't wait for him to be able to come home. So she started bringing family members, a few family members, and a lot of church members. They was coming and they was praying for him and everything. And all of a sudden, she just stopped coming. Maybe a month went by and nobody heard anything from her. So with the time passing, the doctors had came up with the decision of him not being able to thrive at that hospital, that they needed to send him to a hospital that was 2 hours away. It took them a few days to finally get in contact with her to let her know, what he needed done. So when they finally talked to her, she came up there and she was like, no, he can't go 2 hours away. I can't afford to make those trips and I just don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. So the doctors were like, we'll give you a little while to think about it, but he need to be in a place where they can keep him on a ventilator longer and maybe start therapy and stuff in the future. And she was like, no. Be careful who you marry, part 3. Now me, I was thinking 2 hours away. Even if you can't go every single day, maybe you can make it once a week or a few times a month. As much as she said that she loved him, I thought that she would go to the moon and stars to keep him alive and to be by his side. Boy, was I and all of the staff members wrong. So the wife came back up to the hospital and she told the staff that she wanted to do a terminal wean on him. For all of you don't know, a terminal wean is when your loved one, the one that's closest to you, they decide to end your life because they can no longer take care of you or for whatever reason. But that's what she decided to do. And she told the staff she wanted done on a Friday and just to call her whenever it was done. I was thinking that if you were going to take all the artificial life support from your husband and you knew that he was going to die or he was dying, that you would be by his side, holding his hand to the very last moment. But she wasn't. Myself and other staff members stayed there with him. The fear in his eyes. How lonely he seemed. He was so afraid. He was holding our hands so tight. It took maybe, the whole process took maybe a day and a half. And the staff members kind of like, because he was alone, kind of like swapped out and just kind of stayed with him. So that very next day that I came, I was there with him. And we held his hand until his last breath. Could you only imagine somebody that you shared your whole life with? Wouldn't you expect to see them by your side on your dying day? Be careful who you marry, part 4. Now, after he passed away, it took them 2 whole days to be able to get in contact with her. So he was in the morgue for 2 days before they finally got in contact with her. So they got in contact with her, and I guess she, did the whole funeral and everything, and nobody heard anything else from her until 2 weeks later. She was in the bar with her boyfriend, her new boyfriend. So y'all, do y'all think that this new boyfriend played a part into why she stopped coming to see her husband and bringing the little boy? Because as long as he saw his family, he was thriving. He had made a 360. Like I said, he had a long way to go, but he was thriving. But with this story, I say this to say, be careful who you marry. I don't know I don't want to judge her. I don't want to say she's wrong. I don't know if it was too much for her, quote unquote, having to take care of him by herself. I don't want to judge. But I do know that couldn't be the first sign of her being some type of way. Pay attention to the signs of these people and how they act, and that low down is why you with them. Both parties, be careful about cheating on each other and stuff while y'all are healthy, because you just never know. You may think that you're forgiven, and you just may find out your husband's or wife's true intentions while you're on your deathbed. Mind you, he was 39 years old and she was 40. Is there anything anybody could do to deserve this type of treatment? This story right here still haunts me. It still makes me mindful, even when dating, with how I treat people. Y'all, this is a true story. Take this as a life lesson. Y'all be blessed.
That be careful who you marry trend is so real. Truly be careful who you marry. Vet. And sometimes vetting doesn't even cut it. Because a lot of men don't show truly who they are until they are angry, they are provoked, they're joking, or they're drunk. Or they can't have their way. Or they embrace the red medicine mindset. Or they get where they want to be financially, and you are being Mary Jane the builder to them, and you get them to where they want to be. Don't ever do that, because once they get there and they feel like they are now financially sound enough to get to the younger woman, the newer version of you, or a different version of you, it's all about getting to a whole new hot pot, and it's all about status, sex, and being selfish. A lot of men don't have the capacity, mindset, the conditioning in society, they were not brought up to have that kind of mindset. Many of our grandmothers, our great grandmothers, when our grandfathers, many, especially in Africa, find out that their grandfather had multiple children in different area codes, like literally across the continent, literally one child per continent, one child per state, that the grandmother had no idea about. And then all of a sudden, the grandfather has passed away, and children are coming out of woodworks claiming properties or whatever, especially in Africa, right? So making sure that you are in the knowings, and if a man is showing you early signs of control and dominance, their way, their pattern, their belief, their system, their mindset, they embrace misogyny, they embrace all the stuff, you know what I mean? So you have to advise yourself, don't leave your financial future in the hands of a man and say, oh, I don't want to be too masculine, I just want to embrace my feminine. But if you're doing that with the wrong man, with the wrong person, you're doing it at your own detriment. Women have become unalive because of that. Women have gotten chronic ailments that has led to them passing away sooner than they should have, because of them being in a really high conflict, narcissistic, abusive relationship and delegating their agency in the hands of a man, because a man is supposedly default to being a leader. Not every man is a good leader, especially when it comes to marriage and partnership, and being able to communicate, having emotional intelligence, being able to heal their patterns of thinking, being able to be teachable, having a teachable spirit, patient, empathy, kindness, being there, not only delegating to aggression. There are men who will offshore all their money, they will stop paying the mortgage, the house will go in foreclosure, a fear of losing everything, basic needs for you and your children becomes an issue because water is being cut off, electricity being cut off at the very time, because if you delegated the finances to this person who is not prioritizing you and your children because he has multiple households in different area codes to take care of. So this is why it's important for you, when you notice the patterns, advise yourself, get out. Should I go? Should I stay? Should I go? Should I stay? It might be time for you to make a decision and go, because a lot of these men will make financial decisions that is in their selfish interest rather than your interest or the interest of the family, or more so in the interest of their extended family, especially if you're in Africa. And this is why a lot of women find themselves in hot waters once that person moves along or that person goes to be with the Lord, and you really have not been able to learn to manage your life independently or embrace that part, and also be in the knowings of your finances in and out, and have a safety net financially for yourself and your children. A lot of women, when they become widowed, they really struggle, because now they have to catch up, like, with taxes. Where's the budget? Where's the money? Where's the accounts? Because for laundry, it's just like, yeah, I'll just let him do it. He said he will handle all the finances, so I let him do it. But when push comes to shove, the affairs in order. So that's the question. Be careful who you marry. Marriage is a contract, and you have to make sure that contract, as much as possible, is fair to both of you. It's not only in the interest of him while he's having multiple hobbies, multiple side pieces, multiple children all over the place, and give you multiple stuff to your health detriment. Okay, love you, bye.
Be careful who you marry. Some people only use a wedding ring to get attention. The kind of attention they could never get when they were single. They don't wear that ring as a symbol of love, commitment, or loyalty. That ring don't mean nothing to them. Actually, they only wear it to show other people that they are wanted by somebody, but not to honor the person that chose them. They like the idea of having someone, but not the responsibility of being someone worth having. Because to them, the vows was just words. They showed up for the ceremony, but they never planned to honor the connection, to honor the covenant. So I'm asking you to be careful, because some people want the wedding, not a marriage. And some people want the ring, but not the responsibility.
Yeah, that's why you got to be careful who you marry. I would never want to marry somebody who already thought they had arrived. Because if they're not wanting to get better, you're going to be stuck with who they are. I don't care what they look like, sound like, how pretty they were, how attractive they were. I don't care how good nobody looked. To live with that person is a whole different thing. Beauty becomes really ugly when you find out who they are. No, I need to marry somebody that want to get better, want God, want to change, want to grow.
So the whole story that like, you keep me from my child, really? When did that happen? So was it when I was begging you to help, or when I was waiting for you to show up, to the point where I can't even tell my child that you're coming until you're at the curb because of how many times you have not shown up, and I will not have that for him? So yes, I am a mother. I will protect with my life. With my life. You can call me gold digger. We have to have gold to dig it, but okay, gold digger. He got money 2 years ago, guys. Like, seriously. Like, let's be real. If I was a gold digger, I wouldn't have chosen him. You know, like, come on. This is not what it's about. I've been a parent. I have been there. And it's not about not allowing you to see him. It's about the fact that if you've not been there, you can't show up when you feel like it and regulate. That's what you're not going to do. So yes, I do buck back. I absolutely do. But it's a lie to say that it's because you can't see him. No, it's because you can't not show up for months.
Listen to me carefully. Y'all better be very careful of who you marry, because you might be laying down with the enemy. You might be laying down with Satan's son or Satan's daughter. Because how you working 1, 2, and 3 jobs, breaking your back at work, while your spouse is at home not doing shit, laying up in the bed, watching TV, eating up all your food, and you at work busting your ass. You are laying down with the enemy. Anytime your spouse is comfortable with watching you struggle, you laying down with the enemy. Anytime you giving 100 and he's only giving 40, that's your worst enemy. You are laying down with Satan's son. And of course, this goes both ways. This is not one-sided. This goes for male and female. And not only your spouse could set you back financially, but they could set you back mentally and physically. You working 2 and 3 jobs and he just at home chilling, not doing shit. And even if he is working, he not helping you out with the bills. You putting in most of all of your money. Same thing with women. Men, if she ain't doing shit, she's your worst enemy. See, I think people only get married because it's a trend. Marriage is supposed to be a team effort. Because the person that you're with is supposed to be your peace. You are supposed to be able to wake up every single morning knowing that if you don't have it, your spouse does. But if you gotta wake up in the morning and you gotta figure everything out by yourself, child, you are laying with the enemy. Y'all be careful who you marry.